I'd like to welcome everyone to the 2020-21 SFCA Athletics Back to School Orientation. My name is Mike Marciano. I am the Athletic Director at SFCA and very privileged and blessed to be going into my 7th year here at the school. This isn't anything like we normally do, but it's 2020 and what has been normal. I am very blessed to work with a lot of great people. These three that are pictured along with myself are the backbone of the athletic department, and nothing would happen without them. So I'd like to give them a quick intro. Mrs. Kristen Baker runs the Faith Gym, whether it be volleyball, basketball, the score table at varsity JV games, and the Grace Gym. She also runs all of our summer camps and assists Miss Rachel Baker with our school physicals. Rachel Baker is our athletic trainer, and as I always say, the most popular person on campus. She has been a godsend for this school and the athletic department. She handles everything from eligibility and compliance to running our spirit store to just loving on your children. And then Bill Moore, who is our assistant athletic director and head football coach, handles all transportation for the teams. He handles scheduling all officials for our games and corresponding with our opponents to make sure that the contracts are fulfilled and that we have opponents for every game. So again, this is our athletic staff, and feel free to anytime reach out to us. As always, we want to welcome back all returning families and thank you for trusting your most prized possession to us, and we want to welcome all new Kings families, and there are quite a few of you this year. As I said earlier, 2020 has been very interesting, and I can promise you that the admin team of the school has worked tirelessly and exhaustively all summer to get us back in the position to be back in school, and we are ready to start athletics as soon as we get the green light from the FHSAA. It will be a year where you will hear faith over fear quite often, and as believers in Jesus, we have to know that this is all in His hands, and He's got this under control. And we're not perfect by any means at SFCA. However, we are blessed to serve you, and we are blessed to serve the King. And those who believe in us are champions. High school athletics, as we always say, is a three-way partnership. And the first part of that partnership is obviously the athlete. And that's why we do what we do as coaches. And we are here to partner with you and your child to give them the best experience possible. The only way to have success is for you to support us and support them in giving relentless effort, preparing for each opponent, whether it be a practice or a game, and to teach them how to be coachable. Our goals have always remained the same. First things first, we want to teach them to love Jesus Christ and teach them through athletics to do that. But we want them to have fun, enjoy competition, learn how to be a great teammate, and as always, give relentless effort. I could talk about this for many, many hours. The value of athletics in a student athlete's life is you just can't put a value on it. As you can see, most of the top Fortune 500 executives have a background in interscholastic activities or sports. It's been proven that kids will get better grades when they're involved in athletics. Keeps them out of trouble, keeps them off the streets, gives them something to belong to. We call it a gang mentality because when a child can't find anything to belong to, that's when they get into trouble in the gangs, things like that. So we treat our teams as gangs. Sometimes we even call our teams cults, but it's a compliment to how tight they are. And as you can see, grades are higher, participation rates go through the roof, and the kids continue to just strive in interscholastic activities. And again, more than ever now with the pandemic upon us, it's never, ever, ever been more important for these student athletes to get back into a routine where we're taking care of their mental health, their physical health, their spiritual health, and giving them the interaction that they need with other student athletes. 2019-20 was a huge year for us, and I know it was cut short and we didn't get to celebrate the accomplishments and achievements of these student athletes the way we should have, but I wanted to highlight some things that we were able to achieve and still achieving to this day. This is our new baseball complex, and this was made possible by some very generous parents The athletic department also chipped in quite a bit of money, but this was a passionate project. And as you can see on the left, that's our seating section, which as I record this is actually getting a roof put over all of the seating on baseball and softball. And then our new scoreboard in the middle, and that's the view as you walk into the complex to the far right. Again, these are our dugouts. On top is our home baseball dugout, our visiting dugout with press boxes on the bottom, and my favorite part of the baseball field is the halo that goes around home plate. And as I said, not only did we improve baseball, but we also have a new softball complex, highlighted by our new scoreboard, which is just waiting for a sponsor to go on it. Contact me if you're interested. Then in the middle picture is our home softball dugout with our press box, and then our visiting dugout along with our seating section, which, as I said, as I'm recording this, they are working on putting a roof over, and it is just beautiful. As we talk about interscholastic activities, we've got to talk about the Kingdom. We are a Kingdom school at SFCA, and we follow with Kingdom athletics, and everything we do will have a biblical foundation, and that is the difference between SFCA and other places. We will not compromise our integrity, and we will always do things the right way. You'll always see the A for H on many things to do with athletics. The A for H means all for Him and all for His glory, and it comes from 1 Corinthians 10 verse 31. Whatever you do, do it all for the glory of God. You know, if you've been here a while, or even if you're new to SFCA, our mission statement is something we hang our hats on, something we preach every day, and more than preach it, we hope to live it out. And the 4 words that we use in and out regularly is partner, provide, equip, and engage. And I'm going to explain those just a little bit on each of them. First of all, we partner. And we want to partner with each family to give a biblical, not only education, but a biblical background through athletics to all of our children so they can go out and make disciples. We're going to do this through hard work. We're going to do it through dedication. We're going to do it through discipline. And when our coaches don't discipline you, that's when you need to worry. But we've got men and women who love Jesus Christ in role model positions as coaches. We're going to provide them a biblical foundation of decision making, of work ethic, of everything that they will need to, once they leave us after 12th grade, to go out and be successful in the world. We're going to equip them with the biblical knowledge, whether it be through Scripture or how to pray or how to talk to someone through the Matthew 18:15 principle of going one-to-one and having that adult conversation. And we will equip them to engage the culture for Christ. As we know, today's society is very, very secular, and for us to engage that culture, we have to give our kids the biblical foundation they need to stand firm on the rock of Jesus. You'll see this sign around campus, and this is something we take very seriously. We don't judge a child or a family based on your child's talent or ability. What we do is we base our judgment of your child on their ability to be coachable, respectful, a great teammate, mentally tough, resilient, and most of all, their effort level. And that is a direct reflection of what they're getting as you're raising them at home. So what can you as a parent do to be successful? It's really easy, and I can put it very simply, just be their biggest fan. It's our job to coach them, and our coaches take that role very, very seriously. We are not just coming in off the street as coaches for our first time. We have some new coaches this year, but all of our head coaches have experience and have been around children and know how to deal with the issues that they have. So please, keep honest and accurate lines of communication with the coaches. If something's going on at home we need to know about, sometimes we've got a much better relationship or a different level of relationship than they have with you. Sometimes they'll talk to us about things they won't talk to you about. So please, always be there for them off the field, off the court. Try not, as much as possible, whether you agree or disagree with the coaching or whether playing time decisions, please don't ever criticize the coach in front of your child, because that dinner table talk will destroy an athletic program. The 24-hour rule, if you've been around our athletic program for any amount of time, you know that this is something we not only preach, but we definitely live by this. What it means simply is this: after a game or competition, there is lots of emotions, good, bad, or indifferent. And a lot of times, that passion gets in the way of our best decision making. we will not address you as parents for 24 hours. And we ask that you do the same, that you don't address the coach, whether you have a great concern or whether you want to talk about the game in a great way, for 24 hours. If there's a concern, after 24 hours, please email or text the coach to set up a time to talk. Please don't voice your concern through email or texting. Set up a time to talk. That coach will respond to you after 24 hours, and then we'll get all this worked out. If it can't be resolved, I will get involved at any time, and we've never had an issue with resolution. So please, always go face-to-face. It's the only way to communicate. I want to play this video for you because this video is the best example of what I can give you and what we're asking you to do as a parent.
So, not your best practice.
So,
Can we agree on that?
not your best practice. Can we agree on that?
It seemed like you wanted to hang out with your friends more
It
than
seemed like
practice.
you wanted to hang out
And that's
with your
fine
friends
if that's what you
more
want to
than
do.
practice.
You know, just tell me.
And that's fine if that's what
Because
you
you
want
can
to
do that anytime.
Just tell me.
Maybe
Because you can do that
we can
anytime.
skip your next game.
Maybe we can skip your next
Because
game.
choosing to waste your time, that's one thing. But wasting my time and your
Because
coach's
choosing to
time,
waste your time, that's one thing. But wasting my
That's
time
selfish.
and your coach's time,
you don't care about other people.
that's selfish.
You don't care about hard work.
You don't care
You
about
don't care
other
about
people.
teamwork.
You don't care about hard work. You don't
That's
care
why you're
about
always
teamwork.
on the bench. Every time it matters.
That's why you're always on the bench. Every time it matters.
So, if you want to keep playing,
So,
you
If you
need to
wanna
take a
keep
good
playing-
hard look at yourself.
you need to take a
Think
good
about
hard
that.
look at yourself. And think about that.
While I know that video really upsets many of you, unfortunately, this is part of what we see every day in athletics. And recently, we even had a tour here with a potential family. And you wouldn't believe, but we actually had that exact situation happen in the tour. And I'll be honest, we are going to decide we're not accepting the family because they don't fit what we believe in at SFCA, and we feel like there will be too much conflict in the philosophies that we are teaching our young student athletes. These are the 4 questions that I would just ask you to stick to if you're picking up your child after practice or when they get home from practice if they're a driver. Please stick to these 4 questions. Number 1, did you have fun? Was practice fun? What'd you do? Things like that. Number 2, did you give your best effort? Number 3, were you coachable? And lastly, and probably most important, were you a good teammate? The reason we ask you to stick to these 4 questions is this: they're getting coached each and every day. And it could be, hard coaching, it could be physical coaching, it could be just a mental day. And when they get home, they need their parents or guardians to not be their coach. There are many adults today who want to live through their children, unfortunately, and they judge their kids' abilities and just like that video. And we just ask you to be the parent, and please allow us to coach. We don't just do this for 3 months a year. This is something we take pride in, and all of our coaches do development year-round to be the best we can be. Sportsmanship at SFCA is something that we're very proud of. If you don't know, we were the 2018-19 FHSAA state champions in the sportsmanship category. We won the Roselle Sportsmanship Award out of all the schools in the state of Florida. That is not something that we take lightly. That is something that all of our fans, our coaches, our players had to contribute to, because you can't have any technical fouls, personal fouls, ejections to even be up for that award. And you have to be nominated by another school. So that was huge for us. So what we ask is this: when you are cheering for the Kings, or when you're at an event, we ask that you cheer for the Kings. You don't cheer against the other team. We don't taunt the other team. And you'll see that from a lot of our opponents, and we're not going to tolerate that. And I just want you to think before you speak. Officials will never change their mind. And you yelling at them, because I know they're all perfect, but you yelling at them will never change their mind. It actually makes it worse for the kids. No one's going to remember the result of a game in 10 years from now, but they will remember the way you treated them. We teach our kids all the time that social media can be great or social media can be very detrimental. And we've seen more in the past years, students and student athletes are turned away from college opportunity because of what they post. So we teach our kids, and I pray that you would drive this home with them, please think before you post. How is this going to affect me in years down the road? Let's talk quickly about some issues in the athletic handbook. As I said, this is your roadmap to success, so you are in the know. Participation in the athletic program at SFCA is a privilege. It's not a right. Our goal is to commit to you as a family and those student athletes to make this the best possible experience that they could possibly have. And whether it's 7 years of being a king or whether it's 1 year, we want to leave an impression that they will never forget, a positive impression. If at any point we have issues in the season with a family, the first thing I'll do is reach out and communicate with you, and let's all get on the same page. And 99.9% of the time, we're going to work out whatever difference we may have between the family, the coach, the program, whatever it may be. Travel ball or club sports is a big part of today's society and a big part of athletics in general. What we ask you to do at SFCA is you put the school sport first. The reason being is this. We are providing you with the greatest atmosphere and the greatest opportunity to be a kid. We want you to enjoy the middle school and high school experience because it goes so fast. Travel and club ball is very cutthroat. Most times you don't even practice together. You get together, you play a game. It's for exposure. Folks, there's no travel ball coach out there that can promise you a scholarship and come through on that. It just can't be done. So we ask you this. If you're going to commit to an SFCA sport, you don't miss practice, you don't miss games or any kind of activity for a travel ball, sport or activity. And if we ask you to look at the schedule early on, and if we can't make that happen, just please don't come out for SFCA sports. Let's talk attendance really quickly. A student, to participate in a game or competition, they must be in school half a day on the day of that competition. We always say by fourth period. Let's talk quickly if they have an appointment and show up after a quiz or a test. So Susie has an orthopedic appointment. She had to go get her shoulder checked out, and she shows up third period. Well, she had a Bible quiz in second period. Susie must go to her Bible teacher, and hopefully it's worked out before the event even happens, but she must go to that Bible teacher, take that quiz before she goes to practice or a game or even jumps on a bus to travel. That must be worked out. Our teachers all know that and they're aware of that also. Please provide us with a doctor's note if they must miss for a sickness, just so we're all on the same page. And as always, go to the student handbook for any clarifications. As you know, you've all got an account in athletic clearance. The biggest things I want you to know, the difference between this year and in the past with the FHSAA, is the FHSAA now requires 365 days of clearance. Used to be that at the end of the school year, you didn't have to have your paperwork in. Now, because of everything going on with, heat illness and everything else going on today, they have made the move to you must be cleared to even come to off-season or summer conditioning. I think it's a great idea. We're happy they've done it. But again, this goes on the family. Rachel will send out an email saying, hey, your physical is going to expire sometime this month. You've got to know as the parent or the guardian when that physical is going to expire, because if it expires, that student then becomes ineligible to play or practice until we get a new physical. And as always, consents and physicals are only good for 365 days, and we got to renew those every year. This is always a comical slide to me. Other athletic directors and myself, we love this slide. We send emails, and then we'll have someone the first day that can't compete because they don't have a physical or their consent in. So again, thank you for all you do to stay on top of this. We don't have this issue here. I give Rachel a lot of credit and give you a lot of credit as parents. hate to talk about this slide, but unfortunately, quitting does come through the mind of many student athletes, and this is something we would never encourage. We're trying to teach your student athlete how to persist through challenges, and we all go through them. We all have it in our mind that we can't get through a certain bit of adversity, and I would just pray that you would push your student athlete that if they start a sport, they finish it. If they choose, and if you guys come to an agreement that we're not going to continue the sport, they must come and meet with me. Of course, I'm going to try to talk them out of it, but the decision is theirs as a young adult. But they will not be able to participate in any off-season conditioning or another sport until the sport that they quit finishes up, whether that be in district round or whether it be a state championship. Let's talk quickly about nutrition. There is a trend going on right now, and we're seeing that young student athletes are taking pre-workout or energy drinks. And as someone who has been to the emergency room with a student athlete that was under my care in a physical education class that drank a Monster during lunch, I sat and waited for that student to have their stomach pumped. The reason is they cannot handle the amount of caffeine that is in these energy drinks or that is in pre-workout. They don't need it. They're young enough. They should have plenty of energy if they're getting the proper rest. What we ask you to do is help us with this at home. Okay? Please talk to them about proper nutrition. The best thing they can do in and out of season is water, watered down Gatorade or Powerade. I'm not going to say after a game on a Friday night, hey, don't have a soda. They're kids. But we want to make sure it's very limited, and we want to make sure they're downing enough water to be hydrated throughout the day. A great rule of thumb for an outdoor activity athlete would be 1 ounce of fluid per body pound. That's a lot, but that's proper hydration. Let's talk quickly about injury treatment. We are so blessed, as I've talked about her many times already in this video, to have Rachel Baker, who is a licensed athletic trainer. She is a godsend to us, and really, we were blessed to get her 4 years ago now, and she has just been great. She is the first and last stop with any kind of an injury that happens. Rachel will evaluate, she'll diagnose, and refer, if needed, to a physician. We've also got a group of team physicians that are specialists that we can get you into. I'll talk about that in just a minute. Any accident or any injury on campus or off campus in an event, an SFCA event, will be documented on an accident report. We will communicate that right to the parent right away. And then it's up to you on getting to your insurance, and we also do provide secondary insurance to the family. Quickly, we wanted to put some frequently asked questions and answers regarding injuries. As I said, Rachel is the first point of contact. Please, unless it's a complete emergency, please get with Rachel during school hours, or if we're here after school, get with her. She can refer, diagnose, whatever's needed. All of our coaches are CPR and AED certified, and they're all familiar with SFCA's emergency action plan. We have made modifications to the athletic training room due to COVID. We will not allow more than 4 student athletes in there at a time. They will all be masked. We have purchased many touchless thermometers as well as a wet bulb for heat and humidity readings. The state has mandated that this year, so we've got the digital thermometer. It's called a wet bulb, and it has a formula in it that takes the relative humidity, it takes the temperature. It's not a heat index, but it tells us when we need to make some adjustments to our practices and games. As I said, every injury will be documented on an injury report. We do provide secondary insurance, and it's the responsibility of the family to contact your insurance and follow up with SFCA secondary insurance if we go that route. As I said, we've got a great group of physicians that we've partnered with. They also sponsor SFCA athletics, although even if they didn't, we would still refer you to them. They've got a specialist for every body part, head to toe, and if we need to get you in there, I can do that within 24 to 48 hours, to where at other doctors you're going to have to wait a lot longer. Let's talk quickly about strength training, whether it's in season or out of season. This is where we win championships. And training in season is crucial. What we try to do, and all of our coaches know that we want to peak toward the end of the season. toward the playoffs. It makes no sense for us to be at the best physical shape at the beginning of the season and then stop training, and all of a sudden we're getting worn down, our body's getting tired, and we're getting weaker as other athletes are getting stronger. So we do lift in season. It's been proven to provide that mental focus and that edge and keep you on a routine. We will adapt. We will adjust the volume and intensity on a game day. However, we will lift on game day. In keeping with out-of-season training, we're trying to develop strength, power, speed, quickness. So we have created an off-season strength and conditioning program to where we're here Monday through Thursday, 3:15 to 4:15, so these kids can get their weights in, they can get their agility, their power, their speed work in, to where we are not only competing with our opponents, but we're getting an edge on our opponents every single day in the off-season. We're very blessed at SFCA to have comprehensive fitness class. This is a weight training class, and we will lift 4 days a week. The other day we go heavy stretch and core work, and we're getting a lot of the work done in the classroom to save time after school to get the kids out of here earlier. We can quit at 4:15 because most of them have already been in the weight room for that day, so we don't have to continue to keep training long hours after school. Please, we encourage all of our student athletes to sign up for CompFit class. Many times we've put out articles, and I'll continue to put out articles on the dangers of sports specialization. This is from an article in the Coach and AD magazine from September 25th, 2019 from Brown University. And what the article will say, and the thing we've been telling for many years, is sports specialization leads to many injuries. The adolescent needs a variety of cross-training activities. So if I'm a baseball player, if I'm a basketball player, I'm only going to do a certain movement all the time. All right, baseball, I'm going to do a rotation, I'm going to hit, I'm going to throw. Okay, I'm going to bend over and pick up a ball. To where if we can get them playing soccer, if we can get them playing football, if we can get them swimming, whatever it may be, golf, whatever, they're going to do many different activities and different movements. If I only train one movement all the time, my muscles, my tendons, my joints, they start to wear down from overuse. A girl on a hard court sport such as volleyball or basketball is 6 times more likely to tear their ACL than someone who plays part of the year and goes and does another sport on grass. So please understand why we push multi-sport participation so hard. Again, these are just some stats tied to multi-sport participation versus sports specialization. Again, we believe that a multi-sport athlete not only is a healthier athlete, but a much more marketable athlete come time for a college scholarship. This slide is great because it's so true of the relationship we have with our families. And we have a great relationship. We have so many families that are willing to drop whatever they're doing and come and volunteer. I would just ask this. Your coaches are going to ask you to do many things throughout the year. And parents, please volunteer every chance you get, because these years are going to go fast. Whether your child is in 6th grade or whether they're in 12th grade, they're going to go fast. You're going to wish you had these days back where you could go sit at a game and watch them play and give glory to God for all the abilities He's given them. So please commit to everything you can as a parent. We have been very blessed in the past few years, and I've given a challenge each year, it seems like, to the families. And in the past few years, we've spent, in the last about 380 days, we have put $400,000+ into our athletic facility. Last year at this time, we were putting the bleachers and press box on the football field. And we enlarged our sidewalk, and we put in the pavilion over there for picnicking. February, we finished the baseball, softball complex. So we have gotten so blessed by your giving and your generosity and your volunteerism. What we're looking for now is for you to give an opportunity to a student athlete that doesn't have the financial resources to get an SFCA education. As I said with Kingdom Education or Kingdom Athletics, there are many children out there who have toured and who just can't afford to be at SFCA. I would pray that you would prayerfully consider giving to SFCA financial aid. It is a anonymous gift, and a lot of you love that. A lot of you just want to help somebody that maybe can't get to SFCA. So please, there's ways to give online, where you'll never ever be known, or if you want to be known, there's ways to be known. If you have any questions, get with Miss Amy Long on that, but I ask that you prayerfully consider giving monthly to financial aid. As always, we've got our sponsorship opportunities. We can put a banner in the Faith Gym, the Grace Gym, on the fields, a digital score table. We've got a beautiful digital score table that we filled up last year with ads. Or we could be a scoreboard sponsor in the Grace Gym, out on the softball field. We've got openings for sponsors there. So it's a great way to support SFCA athletics and also a great way to advertise your business. Please call me, see me, email me, and I'll hook you up as soon as I can on that. As you know, with the pandemic, we are in a state of unknown. As of you watching this video on Monday, August 10th, here's what we know. As of right now, on August 24th, the FHSAA has set the fall sports start date. That could change. Up until then, we will continue conditioning every single day, and we'll treat that conditioning like a preseason. After school and off-season conditioning will begin on August 24th, so we won't start off-season conditioning until we start our fall sports. And as I said, by August 17th, we're going to have more guidance regarding start dates, competition, and protocols for athletes, fans, and officials. So we're excited about telling you that. And again, we've made a lot of purchases to ensure safety. When an athlete shows up to a facility, they will be temperature checked. Anyone with a temperature of 100.4 and above will be asked to leave campus. Student athletes will be rotated through locker rooms in groups no larger than 7. So a lot of them will wait in the bleachers and we'll send them in by groups. Each student will need to bring their own water bottle or cooler and will social distance while they take water breaks. Student athletes need to be picked up immediately after practice. We will drive this home with our coaches, as I know that some coaches get a little long-winded and just want to get everything right. So if they put out a time of 5:30 that practice will end, please give them a little bit of grace to get in off the field, get the kids out of the locker room, and get out to the cars. Coaches will be sanitizing throughout the day on all surfaces, whether it be in the weight room, whether it be in locker rooms, wherever it may be. And we will, as always, have the students' best interest in safety and cleanliness on our minds. And please, if little Johnny is not feeling well, whether it's COVID symptoms or not, please keep him home. As I said earlier, we've got the greatest coaches in the world, and they develop year-round. I send an email every Sunday with updates and development and meeting times and just ways that we can get better as coaches. I ask them to go to clinics and workshops, and a lot of them just work on their craft year-round. So please understand that we're going to push your children very hard. And when we don't push, it means we're starting to give up on your child, and that won't happen here. So please know that we're here for your children. We're here for a partnership with your family, and again, just support us no matter what we do, and always communicate. As I said, this is the required completion questions. Please email these answers to Rachel Baker at rachel.baker@sfcakings.org for your children to be eligible to compete. Number 1 question: what is the policy for speaking to a coach after a competition? Number 2, during an SFCA sports season, is an athlete permitted to miss an SFCA practice or game for a club sport practice or game? Number 3, who is the first point of contact after an injury has occurred? And number 4, Johnny isn't feeling well. He's got a sore throat, but does not have a fever. Should Johnny still go to practice? Again, email these answers along with your child's grade, sport, and obviously name to Rachel Baker so we can clear them to be able to participate in competitions. Folks, it's been my privilege to present this back-to-school orientation. We cannot wait to see you, whether it be tomorrow at the second day of Spirit Sale, whether it's the 12th when we get all the kids back on campus. We miss them, we love them, and we will keep you informed on all things Kings Athletics. Again, let's get involved financially, volunteer, and I just pray that this school year would be a blessing to you.